Welcome to the G Spot, partake in stimulating discussions that may lead to an arousal of opinion. I am your host, G Majesty, and today we're going to dive deep. We're going to go deep into our history, into our bloodline, and into the roots. I want to discuss the phrase that I keep hearing throughout our culture. We are not our ancestors. Every time I hear it, I sit back and I close my mouth because I am my ancestors. I am the fruit of their labor, the seed watered by their blood, sweat, and tears, the echo of their courage, and the living proof of their prayers. And I'm still in awe at the sacrifices they made, the endurance, the courage, the fight that lived deep within them. They survived the impossible so that we can sit here today with options, voices, podcasts, and microphones. And yet, somewhere along the way, we started to talk about them like they were weak. Our ancestors didn't need hashtags. They had heart. They didn't fight for likes. They fought for life. They was gang them. So when I hear us say, I am not my ancestors, or we are not our ancestors, like it's a badge of honor, I can't relate. Because if we're being honest, we're only doing a fraction of what they've done. So let's talk about what it really means to actually be our ancestors. Our ancestors fought with everything they had. They built legacies out of dust and dared to dream when dreaming was a crime. Meanwhile, we're strolling, posting, dancing on the internet, and arguing about the most meaningless things that we could possibly argue about. Don't get me started on the who eat first. Please. Please. We've been turning the cheek so much that some of us have no clue as to what direction we're even facing at this point. We talk about resistance like it's just merely reposting something on social media. While our ancestors put their lives on the line for us to even have the luxury to sit here and have an opinion. Thank you, ancestors. Now, don't get me wrong. I get that the phrase can feel empowering. I get it. I get the whole intention behind the phrase. It's a response to the stories and the images we've seen of our ancestors being spat on, being attacked by dogs, brutalized, enslaved, all while they sat still, peaceful and unwavering. I get that when we say we're not them, we're saying, couldn't be me. We're saying, better than me, because I would have fought back. But even knowing what a lot of us mean when we say it, it doesn't make it any less disrespectful. Let's acknowledge how our language have distorted the gratitude we should be expressing and have turned into separation. But here's the thing. Instead of being focused on the peaceful protest, let's remember that some of them did fight back. Because let's not forget that some of your ancestors were Harriet Tubman. Some were Nat Turner. Some was Malcolm X. And some of them fought back in more quieter and strategic ways. Like Madam C.J. who flipped the script on poverty and made a whole empire out of it. Some of them were the spellcasters, the prayer warriors, the midnight oil burners who moved mountains in silence. They quite literally laid the blueprint for legacy and liberation. Hell, surviving in itself was a form of resilience and brilliance within itself. Like, let's just really put the cherry on top and say that. Surviving within itself was a form of resilience and brilliance. Some of us wouldn't have gonna make it out of that. I don't think a lot of us would have made it. So before you fix your mouth and say that you are not your ancestors, I recommend you do the research. Know who your ancestors were. Know what they stood for, what they built, and what they sacrificed. Think twice before you separate yourself from that lineage. And for some of us, I can't help but think that maybe you're saying you're not your ancestors because you don't have the willpower to be who they were. Maybe it's because you don't possess that kind of strength. Perhaps the resilience skipped you. I don't know. But what I do know is that we've become too comfortable using that phrase. But see, we've become too comfortable with a lot of things lately. And since we want to compare, how about we compare how our ancestors fought for freedom while we're busy fighting for convenience? Or we could compare how they build communities, but we out here building platforms. They were focused on family, but we're focused on followers. I'm guilty of it too. They were striving for progress while a lot of us are out here striving for clout. The wild part is I know a lot of them are looking at us shaking their head like, this is what we died for. This is what we died for. I know some of them are actually happy or satisfied with some of the outcome. But I know it's other ones that just like, and I did all this for what? Exactly. We like to say that comparison is the thief of joy. But in this case, we need to realize that you can't even compete where you don't compare. It's apples and oranges, because if we're going to be real, I have to say it. A lot of us don't even have an ounce of what it takes to do what they did. We can't even get together and collectively agree to boycott a business anymore. Like, I remember I suggested online that we should all stop going to work as a form of boycotting and as a form of protest. Like, yeah, let's boycott our jobs. Now, why did I say that? I was met with the most vicious negative replies that you could fathom. You would have thought I said, release all the pedophiles. Y'all, they dragged me up and through Facebook. No lie. No lie. They refused to fondle the idea. And what they was really rejecting was doing away with convenience. They was like, oh, I'm not getting rid of my convenience, because if I'm not working, I'm not getting money. What about my bills? We're going to boycott all that shit. But they weren't trying to hear me. I think I was before my time. This was like some years ago. Like, I want to say every bit of 5-6 years ago. Anyways, it seemed like a more receptible or a more accepted point of view now, where they like, you know what, we do need to get together and boycott the jobs. The point is, a lot of us put our convenience before anything else. And our ancestors wasn't like that. So I don't know, maybe y'all right when y'all say we are not our ancestors. We are not our ancestors. I hate it. Yes, you are. Yes, you are your ancestors. It's always going to be a few 100,000 of us that want to be individuals so bad. The ones who use incompetence as a weapon and refuse to understand the importance of unity. The ones that want to continue to live in the convenience awarded by our ancestors. So they continue to participate in America's misogyny and furthering the distance between true justice and freedom. It's like we somehow inherited the courage of our ancestors, but lack their discipline. I'm all for encouragement and positive reinforcement, but it gotta be said. A lot of y'all are a bunch of standbys. My baby came home the other day and he was telling me about something they've been teaching him in school called standbys. And it's basically when you see someone being bullied and you don't do anything about it, so you're just as bad as the bully. You're just standing by and letting it happen. A lot of y'all are some standbys. You may not be a coon and you may not be an Uncle Tom out here tap dancing and such, but you're also not helping us progress. You're just standing there. Or as my mama would say, sitting there looking stupid. Just standing there looking stupid. In the words of the great Christopher Ludacris Bridges, move, bitch, get out the way. No, but can you imagine putting your life on the line and sacrificing everything in you to move mountains just for your great grandkids to focus on that one time you didn't slap the dog shit out of some degenerate old white man? Yeah, 5 generations later, they're yelling, telling everybody how they're not you and somehow it's better than you because they would have aired that bit out. Negating the fact that your fight and tenacity is what even left room for them to be born in the first place. Sounds ridiculous, right? Yeah, because it is. Because it is. Bruh, I wish my great grandkids would. I wish they would. I ain't my ancestors. The hell you is. Yes, you is. And be proud about it. All this damn work I done did. I know that's what they thinking. You are me and I am you. Now pick up where I left off and be great. Every generation is a continuation and not a separation. It's not a replacement. You don't get to come along and then just replace the people who came before you. And if you can't see that, I don't know, maybe you need to book an appointment with your ophthalmologist. Now, I'm not saying we haven't accomplished anything. We have. We've broken barriers, rewritten laws, and claimed places that we were never even meant to enter. We got to see at the table now. But let's not forget who built that table and the seats, who was serving the plates and cooked the food. All I'm saying is put some respect on them people's name.
Put some respect on them people's name.
Because the power of our ancestors wasn't just in what they achieved. It was in what they endured, in their unity, their fight, their grind. They prayed for the day that we could stand freely. And now we stand and tweet how we're not them. Sheesh. Talk about a slap in the face. We are the freedom they dreamed of. We're like them in more ways than many of us care to realize. Creatively, spiritually, emotionally. From generational trauma to generational strength, the information is encoded in our DNA and travel through our bloodlines. Because water is memory, and we're created in water, aka amniotic fluid. But I'm not gonna get too deep. I ain't gonna get too deep. Being our ancestors doesn't mean living in the past. It means honoring their sacrifices by refusing to waste what they built. And at the bare minimum, not spitting in their face and claiming that we're not them. Don't shoot me. We are not better than them. We are because of them. So although I get the meaning of when we say, oh, we are not our ancestors, let's stop. Let's just stop. Let's find something else to say. So instead of saying, we are not our ancestors, we need to acknowledge the fact that we're the living proof that they never died. So are you your ancestors? Say yes. Say yes. All right. I'm my ancestors. Talking about you ain't your ancestors. Child. The embarrassment. Just out here embarrassing them people. And for what? What they did to y'all. Besides give you a better life. I'm sorry I had to do it, but I had to do it. I had to come and straighten y'all out for the ancestors. Because they're not pleased. They don't like it. They don't like it. It's bad enough y'all ain't got no altar. It's bad enough that y'all think honoring them is evil and demonic. And now y'all talking about we are not our ancestors. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I've had enough. I've seen enough. I've heard enough. Stop it. Stop. Anyway, that's all I have for today. We are our ancestors. Thank you for tuning in to the G Spot. I am your host, G Majesty. Make sure you like, comment, and share. And love, peace, and hair grease.